welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union Energy Update. I'm going to start today with reading what I had channeled this morning. I did a written Sacred Union Energy Update on Instagram, cross post to Facebook, and here on my community tab. So I'm going to read this because I found it really interesting, and I'm going to share my personal experiences, and you'll understand why in a moment. So the Sacred Union Energy Update, the cards that we pulled was the King of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. I usually only take 3, but 4 came out. And then on the bottom of the deck was the Death card, and beneath that was the Chariot, which feels really significant to me because that says to me, this is what this change is bringing in. It's bringing in this movement. It's bringing in more leadership, more direction, especially when it comes to one's own life. So what I had channeled was that there's a significant energy of change coming through here with the Death card and the Chariot on the bottom of the deck. I don't feel like that action space has been reached quite yet, but the process of transformation is unfolding and the leadership for a new beginning is approaching. And what I feel from this is really the masculine energy where, well, it could be both, because Divine Feminine has really been feeling this new energy, this new beginning energy, and is really excited, is really manifesting and excited for her future and what she's creating. She's very present, she's very grounded, but she's also really thinking about what is it that she wants, especially out of that wounded energy and into her higher state, embodying that higher state. The masculine, however, and we'll get more into him in a minute, but the masculine is really, I feel, learning how to step up in that leadership role. And when I say leadership, it's not necessarily leading others, although it could lead to that, for lack of a better word. But I feel like this is leadership within oneself, honoring oneself, claiming oneself, their own sovereignty, your own inner authority, rather than listening to outside influences or having outside circumstances affect you. They're really claiming themselves in a new way. And that's what I really mean about leadership. And as you take that authority for yourself, as you step into your self-empowerment, it's not about controlling others, and it's not about controlling your circumstances, your environment, or your surroundings. That's what you learn on this ascension journey. And Divine Masculines and Divine Feminines, because you have experienced society from two ends of polarity, within this societal patriarchy, you have learned this in differing ways. For the masculine specifically, they were in an energy as a whole, as a collective, that they were controlling others, where they were imposing their will on others in many ways. So they've had to learn the process of surrender from the egoic standpoint, learning that the only thing that you have to control is yourself. And if outside, that's part of the feminine energy that's been rising within them, is trusting flexibility, being open, being flexible, being adaptable. Divine Feminines, you've learned that from a different angle, from a different vantage point. And this is what these sacred partnerships, what these twin flames do, is you mirror each other. You're two sides of the same coin, so that you mirror each other, but you're approaching it from different angles. And that's part of why this experience and this journey can be so difficult when you are in connection with one another, when you're communicating with one another, because you're not experiencing the journey in the same light, in the same way. You're experiencing it from two different ends, so that you come together and you have that energy exchange and you have that share, you have that connection, but you're experiencing it from two different vantage points. So this is stemming, the process of transformation is unfolding and leadership for a new beginning is approaching. This is stemming from emotions that seem to be flooding through the energy exchange between counterparts at the moment, particularly from the Divine Masculine side. So you can really be feeling this energy, or you can be kind of protected from this energy, depending on where you are in your journey and where your path has led you. Within my own personal experience as a Divine Feminine, I've been experiencing apathy and indifference towards the connection. I'll talk about that in a minute. However, it seems that the Divine Masculine is on the other side of that coin and experiencing another heart chakra opening. And we know what that feels like. We go through many. It almost feels unbearable with the range of emotions that are being experienced, and I feel like they're having a hard time balancing this out. There's a sense of overwhelm with an internal battle waging in their mind. They want to come forward and offer a reconciliation, perhaps even a gift or a token of affection, to shift out of the cycle you've both been in and have a new beginning. They want that new beginning. They want that reconciliation. They want that reunion. And there's this inner battle, this Five of Swords, mind over heart kind of battle that's waging in their mind, especially as they're experiencing this flood of emotions. It's like they want to end that cycle, they want to come forward, but how do they do this? Part of that problem is they're not sure how you would receive it. I'm seeing sleepless nights, anxiety, heartbreak, even checking your social media for clues as to whether or not you'd be receptive. They have to break free from this themselves, however, as recognition of their own sovereignty and self-empowerment. This is the divine masculine's journey. This is their journey. Through their confidence and inner strength and authority, which they will claim, they will rediscover aspects of themselves they'd all but forgotten, which they will then utilize to take the lead for their lives and the connection in a healthy and sustainable way. For some, this is going to look like connection as far as rebuilding the foundation of friendship and connection with their counterpart in a relationship. For others, it's going to be coming through with some kind of closure, perhaps some kind of reconciliation to bring about that closure for the connection, especially divine feminines, if you have decided and making that choice to kind of continue on your sacred path, especially if you are not feeling like you are growing, if you're feeling like the connection has remained stagnant and you're making that choice to keep growing and keep expanding and keep having experiences that will further that growth and further that expansion. There could be a closure, conversation for closure between you and your counterpart. And that's not to say that it won't come back around again someday, somehow, but there's this closure energy that's been coming through as well. We've been talking about this. Some of us are experiencing reconciliation with a person that we've always believed is our divine counterpart. And it's not about belief. It's really not about belief. It's just recognizing for yourself what it is that you want for your life and for your experience. So for some, it is that person who you've known as your counterpart who is growing and transforming right along with you, even if you are in separation. And so you're having that reconciliation and you're having that, it's coming back around for that connection, that relationship that you felt, that you want, that you desire. For others of us, we are moving into a new energy, perhaps even new relationships that can really honor that embodiment of who you are, who you have become. So it's going to resonate with a number of you in a number of different ways. It's just keep allowing it to unfold and keep allowing yourself to surrender. And like I always say, surrender is that place between trust and faith where you are just really loving yourself the way that you always wanted another person to love you, the way that you want to love another person. Give that all to yourself and also give it to those around you, your pets, your family, your friends, your work, your passions, your hobbies, the world at large. Allow that love to just expand, because that's what you've learned on this journey, is that love is not attached. Love is connected to everything. And so you will have the relationship and the connection that you so desire. It might not be with that person that you expected it to, but remember that twin flame sacred partner is an energy. And so there will be somebody, a divine masculine, who is able to step through and be your match in that way where you are not only mirroring each other's wounds, but the healing and the growth that you've experienced on this journey. So keep working through whatever triggers or whatever beliefs pop up. I've been working through that myself because it is a new way of looking at this journey. And I never expected to be in this place, but there's a real sense of peace now that comes from that I've been experiencing, and a sense of excitement for the future of what I'm creating. I don't know which direction that takes yet. I don't know which path that is for me yet. that's going to keep revealing itself as I keep moving forward on my path. I can tell you guys that all I feel for my divine masculine right now is complete and utter gratitude and just sending blessings his way from a place of gratitude. I am so emotional I could cry because the amount of love and gratitude that I feel for my divine counterpart is extraordinary. But there's also been this sense of acceptance of maybe that was just the journey that we were on, and maybe we're going our separate ways. And there's a sense of excitement as well for more moments to be created. If you guys have been following me for a while, you would have seen some readings about full circle moments, full circle memories. I talked about this over on my sister channel, Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, where throughout this past year, there was a sense of closure that was coming in. And it was a closure of the past iteration of my ascension journey. And with that, there was a lot of timelines that were closing up. I was experiencing very familiar energies, very familiar timelines, or situations, I should say, that was helping me to see how far I've come, how much I've transformed, how much I've grown, and to almost like set the stage for my future in that new empowerment, in that new embodiment, in that new place of growth. And so it feels like those full circle moments are kind of completed, and now I just feel this sense of excitement for the future. And part of what I experienced a couple of weeks ago, if you guys listened to one of the recent Sacred Union energy updates, I'll link everything in the description box below, was I was going through this grieving process, this mourning process, and I've been going through that essentially this past year as there was this conclusion and journey's end, as I've talked about. And so the experiences that I've had recently, especially what shifted on New Year's, was I closed out the past, where I was mourning because we had so many beautiful memories and we were creating, and I had dreamed of a future based on that past version of me, closed all of that out, so that now from this present state of being, this peace, this acceptance, this new version of me, this higher frequency, I'm able to create from a different mind space. It's not necessarily the wounded version anymore. That version had completed and healed. And so now I'm creating from a new healed version. Now, healing continues, right? It continues. It's evolution. We continue to evolve. We continue to expand. We continue to grow and learn. In that respect, healing doesn't ever end. But a significant cycle closes out. The iteration of your journey where you were triggering each other and where you were going down to the core root of things and shifting your beliefs and your perspectives and closing out old versions of yourself, that comes to a close. And so now from this version of yourself, and it feels really remarkable when especially when you're tuned into the energy of things, it feels really remarkable, the before and the after that seems to exist. And for a long time, we kind of ride the wave of being in that transition era, where it's like one foot in one world, one foot in the other, and it feels really unbalanced and really uncertain. But once you really anchor into that new frequency, that new world, for lack of a better word, it's like everything opens up, potential opens up. And for what I'm finding for myself is that I'm just really excited to have new experiences, so grateful for the old. And part of what I was, again, mourning was I love those old experiences. I love those memories that we have. But I'm excited for more memories and more moments with whoever that involves, in whatever direction my life takes me. And not just with a relationship partner, a romantic partner, but with family, with friends, with career. You know, life is a continuation. Life is a journey. And so it's this energy of excitement now. And I don't know which path or which direction it's going to lead me. I don't know who it's going to lead me back to or who it's going to lead me towards. But that's where I'm just really surrendered and having faith in that unfolding. And I wish that I could give you guys certain answers. I wish that I could say this is how it's going to be, but I can't. And I would never do that because I don't know myself. I'm on this journey right along with you guys, and I share my struggles. I share the triggers. I share myself raw and real because I am on this journey with you guys. And I will never pretend ever to be somebody that I'm not or be experiencing something that I'm not. I don't have the answers. All I can do is continue to surrender and have faith and guide you guys, because I recognize my place here. I recognize that I'm serving as kind of like a guide for a lot of people, and I really take that to heart and I really honor that. But this is an energy exchange as well. You guys are helping me as much as I'm helping you. But I don't want that to go unnoticed, that the only thing that I can do is guide you guys to your self-empowerment, whether you're a divine masculine or a divine feminine, to love yourselves and honor yourselves and connect deeply to yourselves and to God. If you've been with me through this journey, well, first of all, God help you. God love you for being with me through thick and thin. My goodness, we have come a long way, haven't we? But second of all, you know what it takes to go through this journey and through this transformation, and that we always speak about connecting deeply to yourself enables you to connect deeply to others, because the more intimate and vulnerable you can be with yourself, the more you know yourself, the more you can stand in your strength, recognize your power, connect to your love, connect to God's source. And the more you're connected to God's source, the more you're connected to everything in the world. The collective consciousness, number one, every living consciousness on the planet, and the love that exists through that collective consciousness. That's what this journey is about. It's about oneness. It's about unity. And I think that a lot of the times we lose sight of that. I know I've done that myself. We lose sight of that. We are meant to be here to open up and expand out of the limited thinking that we were in, and out of the old relational energy that we were in. Learning how to relate to ourselves in a new way and relate to others. And that happens through the energy of love. Love is what permeates everything. Everything. Love is the thread that ties it all together, because love is God's source. I don't care if you call it God. I don't care if you call it source. I don't care if you call it the universe. Whatever it is that you want to call that higher power. It is the thread that ties it all together. That love is God. And the more that we connect to the energy of love and not what we supposed love to be, or that we were conditioned love to be, the more that we discover the truth of ourselves, the more we can not only change ourselves, but change the world. We all have big dreams of changing the world. We all can see what the world can become. Peaceful and harmony and love-driven. We all see that. We all want that, because that's what our soul has always been reminding us of. That possibility, but it starts within us. And so part of that is allowing yourself to open up to love and open up to love with another. We've been saying that 2023 really is the energy of connection, relationship, because we've been doing a lot of that individual work to understand, where do those beliefs come from? Where do those mindsets come from? Where are those traumas needing to be healed, recognized, acknowledged? The more that we clear out that what I like to call soul sludge, and really step back into the root of who we truly are, our sacred truth, which is love, the more we are able to step into that higher state of consciousness, higher frequency, and higher love. And the more that we do that, the more we're able to change the world. And we can do that together. The more that we do that together, the more that love is amplified. And that's what 2023 is all about. It's about coming together so that you amplify that love. And you do that in intimate connections with another. You do that in romantic relationships, because romantic relationships are the most intimate relationships that you have, truly. All right. So, where was I? Divine feminines. The guidance for you was to remain grounded in your own self-empowerment and embodying love and your higher self. Keep standing in your own truth and trusting the sacred path you're walking. You might not be able to see how it all comes together, and it might surprise you, but life is a journey that's traveled in faith. So, I was going to go ahead and share some of my experience, but I think I already did. I can't remember what I just channeled. It was just like pure blackness in my vision and just words from the heart. So I do want to say this though. What I've been experiencing personally is some apathy and indifference when it comes to my connection. Does not mean that the love is not there. The love is absolutely there. But it's almost like I have really closed out that chapter of the past and am excited about what's being created. Now, with that, it's very complex emotions, and especially for divine feminines, you're able to carry a lot of complex emotions. That is part of who you are. To hold space for yourself within that complexity, you are complex, and that's a gift because you're able to hold multiple emotions at once. I'm just guided to Tinkerbell. And I forget where it was. It was one of the Peter Pans. Maybe it was the original Peter Pan. But how Tinkerbell, as a fairy, can only hold one emotion at a time. And it's like, because she's so small. And it's like, that's not the divine feminine. That's not the divine feminine. The divine feminine holds a lot of complexity, especially when it comes to her emotions. But the wounded feminine is imbalanced in those emotions. She is not self-honoring of those emotions. She's not understanding of her emotions. She can't hold space for her own emotions. Divine feminine, the conscious feminine, truly can hold space for those emotions. That does not mean that she has to be hyper independent. She can turn to trusted friends, family, soul family, lovers for support and allow herself to receive that support, allow herself to be held when times call for it. Because again, we're not here alone. And we have relationships with others to serve as that support. To be that support is a better word for it. So if you're having trouble holding space for yourself, that's where you turn to your friends and your family and your relationships to hold space for you. But you also grow and expand and evolve into learning how to self-regulate. It's your inner union, it's your inner balance of your sacred masculine and your sacred feminine, where it's the waterfall analogy, where the feminine is the flow of water. And without that masculine container within you, there's just nothing but a flood, right? Nothing but a flood. The water goes everywhere, it spills over, it kind of wrecks the environment. But within that container of safety and security and being held, that's the masculine energy. You're able to regulate, self-regulate, and hold space for yourself as well. And that's what happens in connections with others. That's what happens especially in your partnership. With your person, with your lover, with your sacred partner, whatever you want to call it, is you have that, hold that space for each other. And because you both have masculine and feminine energies within you, at any given time, you're able to hold space for each other because you're balanced out. One can be more in their feminine energy, one can be more in their masculine energy. The key is to recognize your core and to honor that core. But you have both energies, and so at any given time, you might need to step more into one or the other. So I've been feeling a little bit indifferent, been feeling a little bit of apathy towards the connection. It's almost like I don't want to do readings, not for clients or anything like that. And not when it comes to like the soul path, but when it comes to sacred unions, it's almost like I just don't care. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. And I'm not quite sure where that's coming from. And I think it's not that I don't want to know. It's just I trust that my masculine, I'm going to call him my counterpart. I'm not going to call him my masculine anymore. I'm going to surrender that. My counterpart my twin, my catalyst, because that's truly who he is. He is my twin, and as my twin, he has been my catalyst. I'll get to that in a second. My counterpart, he is on his own journey, and I so respect that and appreciate that for whatever it is that he's experiencing. And it's not that I don't want to hold space for him. Like I said, the love that I have for him, the absolute love that I have for him is undeniable and undefined. But there's also been this letting go, this surrender, this acceptance that I've had to have due to our separation. And it's interesting, for 5 years, my counterpart and I had been doing this journey together, physically together, communication. I think the longest that we went was 2 months, and then we were drawn back to each other. The universe brought us together. And that's where I'm kind of having faith. If we're meant to be together, either my intuition would guide me to him, where my intuition is saying, no, that's not your role. That's not your role. That was your role, because you need to learn how to honor your intuition and trust your intuition. But that's not your role anymore. You've done your job. You've done it. And so it's almost just like trusting in him. If that's his choice, if that's what he chooses, if he's been going through his own growth process and transformation, that's up to him, or it's up to the universe, or it's up to both. So I've been in this place of just peaceful surrender, and it does feel incredibly peaceful, because once again, I'm excited about what's to come. I'm not looking at the past anymore. I'm looking at what I want to create, and that's healthy partnership, secure partnership, committed partnership, an actual relationship, not just a situationship. It is loving and uplifting and encouraging, and where we grow together towards each other rather than against each other. That's what I'm looking forward to have that experience within my life, within my human life. So when it comes to these sacred unions, it's almost like I feel almost like indifferent to it, because I just know that it's occurring in one way or another. I know it's occurring. I don't have to seek for answers. I don't have to seek for clarity. And if I need to find clarity on something, I just surrender that to God, and that's provided. And it's a very new experience for me to be in that place. It was a hard-fought battle for me to be in that place, but that's where I feel like I am. That said, I was doing some work on some beliefs and releasing even more attachment today. And all I felt was my heart just open up and expand into just complete gratitude for my counterpart. And I'd been feeling that over the course of the whole journey. I felt grateful for my counterpart and love for my counterpart, but it just opened up into complete and absolute gratitude, and wanting him to be blessed, and wanting him happiness and success, and just pouring all these blessings onto him out of gratitude. And again, I've been on that in that place in pockets over this journey, but this just feels like a blanket kind of statement, a blanket kind of energy, where it's just gratitude, where the anger's gone, the resentment's gone. I just feel grateful. And I can recognize that, it's very easy for me to be in my ego and say, well, he's not going to think that you helped him at all, or that you guided him at all, or that you served any purpose other than, whatever. Whatever he said to me the last time that we spoke. But I do see, and I will always believe, that we were catalysts for each other, because he was a catalyst for so much growth within me. And I feel so grateful for him for that. And I know from the very depths of my soul that I was there supporting him as well. My divine counterpart woke something up inside of me. I had been very sick since 2012, going through spiritual awakening since then. Didn't call it spiritual awakening, didn't understand it was spiritual awakening until I really started to heal myself after relapse in 2015, 2016, and really learn the art and power of surrender. And I was going through this process of learning how to love myself again. You guys have heard the story of me in New York, or going on my trip to New York, which was magical because I had somehow manifested that trip. It was the first trip I had taken on my own. I couldn't drive a car because my brain was so infected by the disease that I had a lot of neurological problems. So I couldn't drive. At least I couldn't drive, further than like a block or two. And it was the first time I was wearing jeans because the denim would hurt my legs, or, I barely went out of the house. So that trip was significant. I was meeting with my soul sister, my best friend, and we manifested seeing a Broadway show. We manifested meeting the cast. We manifested amazing food. Like, we've just manifested before I knew what manifestation was, or I was just beginning to learn what manifestation was. It was pretty incredible. And then I was starting to love myself more and come alive more. And then I met my divine counterpart. We were reunited because we've known each other since elementary school. And it was like this feeling of home, this feeling of being seen, this feeling of being understood, this feeling of familiarity, just this unwavering love that I didn't understand because I didn't know him. I knew him as we were kids, but I didn't know him as adults. But it launched us on the ascension journey, and that activated me to connect back to myself. That activated me to connect back and heal my rift with God, because I was so angry with God from being sick. It opened me up to my relationship, my personal relationship with Jesus, or Yeshua. It opened up my gifts. It led me on this incredible path that I never expected to be on. It just opened me up completely, and it made me come alive. He helped me come alive again, and in many ways, I feel like he saved my life. At least my emotional life. And so when I think about everything that we've been through, I can't help but feel completely grateful and love him. At the same time, surrendered that maybe that served its purpose. Because I know that I was there for him, and I know that in many ways, I might have done the same for him. And we were there for each other. And the absolute love that I know exists between us. I will never deny the love between us. I will never doubt the love between us. Maybe that's what this journey's purpose was. And so it's just absolute love that is there, and absolute gratitude. And it's this energy of just complete surrender and acceptance, not needing to seek for anything, not needing to have anything in return. And that is how I know, finally, what unconditional love is. It has taken a lot to get to this place. I never thought that I would be here in this place of love and release, but this is where it is. Okay, so we might not all be in this place. We might be getting to this place. Some might have been here already. Everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different, but I started this channel sharing my experience, and this is how I channel, this is how I share, because like I said, this is my journey too. So I thank you guys for holding space for me, and I thank you for allowing me the sacred space in which I can share my journey, in the hopes that it helps you on yours as well. Because this is a new level of love within myself, for him, for others, and for myself. And it's just unbelievable gratitude. Unbelievable gratitude. All right, so let's get some cards here and see what's going on between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. Okay, I know I talked for a while. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. I'll put a timestamp below as well. All right, Divine Masculine. Take this for your Divine Masculine, your inner masculine, for the person that you know as your counterpart, or for the Divine Masculine collective as a whole. Take it however it resonates for you. Divine Feminine. I want to get some cards for the Divine Feminine too. Wow. Okay. You're responding, Divine Feminine. You're responding to the masculine. Yeah, interesting. And I feel like this is you in this Nine of Pentacles energy. I'm going to hold that out as well. Interesting. For the Divine Masculine, we have the Hanged Man, we have the Knight of Cups, and we have Karma, which is Judgment. And as you guys know, Judgment for me is this energy of awakening, energy of rebirth. It's also an energy for me of second chances. And I feel like that's what's happening here. I feel like with the Hanged Man here, there's this, number one, there's this surrender. No, it's not quite surrender. It's this need for surrender, because I feel like there's this awakening up energy that's happening within the Divine Masculine. They're seeing things from new perspectives. They're understanding things from new perspectives. There was a very stubborn and even prideful energy here before. I don't want to change. I don't want to grow. I don't want to see things in a different light, because that means that I have to look at myself in a different light. That kind of energy. But there's illumination that's happening. There's enlightenment that's happening. They're having that light bulb aha moment. They're seeing things differently. And it's almost like the universe is shining light on them. Almost like a pushing them so that they can't ignore it. They can't hide under the covers anymore. They can't numb themselves out to who they truly are anymore. This shift is taking place. Whether they resist it more or not, the shift is taking place. And there's this energy of a need to surrender. The surrender is what makes it easy. The more you resist, the more it's going to push and persist. But I feel like there is this surrendering, and what's happening is I'm almost seeing like the Wheel of Fortune is things are turning around for them. They were really struggling in the past, perhaps even within their physical world, where things felt like it was ending, being destroyed. But I'm hearing deconstruction. That's truly what it was. It was deconstruction. Because what they had built themselves, and we've been channeling this for years, the foundation, the structure, their life that they had built for themselves was on a faulty foundation. It was a foundation of ego. It was a foundation of insecurity, trauma, outside influences. Now that tower had fallen, and it's almost like they've been picking up the pieces, calling back those fragmented aspects of themselves, and tuning into the truth of who they really are. And it's because they've been going through ego deaths. I don't like to call it ego deaths, but for lack of a better word here, ego deaths, so that their soul is really coming through here. They're tuning into their soul by that heart expansion that they've been experiencing. And so what's been happening, especially when you came into the picture, Divine Feminine, this is what you do. You catalyze each other for this growth and for this expansion, is even if you were awakened before, this is a new level of ascension. Ascension dives deep. Spiritual awakening opens you up to new mindsets, new awareness. Spiritual ascension gets into the core, gets into the crux of things. Spiritual ascension shows you your very soul. So what's been happening is the Divine Masculine is beginning to understand that they're building a new foundation on truth, the sacred love within themselves, unconditional love, connection to themselves, connection to higher power perhaps, but it's all one and the same. It is not this false sense of self, not the egoic sense of self, not who other people told them to be, or even not who they decided to be in opposition of other people. If other people were like, you should do this, and you're like, nope, I'm going to do the opposite. That's still a false sense of self. That's still ego, because you're purposefully being oppositional to prove other people wrong. That's ego. Now it's like they're getting to the crux of themselves. They're getting to the truth of themselves. This is who I am, whether it agrees with you or not. Whether this is what you expect of me or not, this is who I am, and I'm going to honor that and honor myself, because I know that this is who I am, and it's not who you're telling me to be. It's who I've discovered for myself, and that might align with who you think I am, or it might not. I'm just seeing, for example, parents who, try to say to children, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. Like, you should do this for a career. You should, buy this house. You should get married. You should be this person. Parents have a huge influence on us in that they instill values. And a lot of the times, as children, we are trying to discover who we are for ourselves. And without that outside influence, even though we're influenced by everything around us, we still have, that connection to ourselves, and we're trying to understand who we are and who we want to be, not who other people are telling us that we need to be. And so sometimes we get, out of trauma response or whatever this is, we get too much in our ego and we rebel. And we say, well, you want me to do this, so I'm going to go the opposite way, just out of spite, just to prove you wrong. But that's all ego. That's all trauma response. And so the more that you connect with yourself and know yourself, the more you recognize, again, the truth of yourself. And it doesn't matter what other people think of you. It doesn't matter what other people expect of you. What matters is that you are honoring your truth. That's your inner authority. That is your personal sovereignty. That's what the Divine Masculine has been experiencing and understanding. And so there's this enlightenment, there's this illumination that's been coming through, and I feel like they're surrendering more and more to themselves. You've opened this up to them. It's almost like you just kind of destroyed the protective bubble that they had surrounded themselves in. And it forced them to really go deep within themselves and learn how to understand themselves, but they were not comfortable with that. But what's happening is, because they've been going through that process, they're opening up more and more to not only themselves, but love. The love within themselves, their own worth, their own value. And the more that they do that, they're opening up to love within the world, not being so guarded against the world. And as a result, not being so guarded against you, their Divine Feminine. And so with this Knight of Cups here, it feels like, number one, love within themselves, and wanting then to share that love with another, with their divine counterpart. And that's what this feels like. This feels like they had experienced a lot of karma. They had cleared out a lot of karma. But the karma gives way to a new dawn, to new life, to a rebirth, and to a second chance for them to live as they truly want and deserve to live, as themselves, who they truly feel that they are and want to be. Divine Feminine, you have two of the same cards that we got in this morning's reading, written channeling, so I'm not surprised at all why we were guided to do this today. So we have the King of Cups and we have the Chariot, and I feel like you're actually responding to the Divine Masculine rather than sharing, what's going on with you. And I think that's because I already shared what's going on with the Divine Feminine for the most part. But the King of Cups and the Chariot, I feel like, number one, this is you. You are balanced in your emotions. You are balanced in your own inner masculine. This is your union energy. And as such, you're kind of walking your path, taking charge of your life, because again, we have the Nine of Pentacles here. This is somebody who is independent, sovereign, self-empowered. You're balanced in your physical life. You're balanced in your emotional and spiritual life. You've just got it all. I really like seeing this more so than the Empress, because the Empress has a different kind of connotation and energy, but this is Empress energy. This is High Priestess energy. But I like this because this is showing that, you're just walking your path. You're very empowered, you're very stable, you're very grounded in your material world and in your energetic world. What's happening here is you're releasing a lot of the past, putting down those burdens of the past. You see the castle in the sky here? It's like you're putting down the burdens of the past and your eye is on the future, exactly like we had just talked about. Excited for the future, for what it is that you're creating. And in the past, you might have held a belief that that castle in the sky was unattainable. Happiness was unattainable. Love was unattainable. But the burden that you're putting down is recognizing that you have the love that you were always seeking, or that you were always wanting to give to others within yourself. This is you. Now, for another message, this is you in response to your Divine Masculine, where this is your masculine. You're feeling this energy. You're feeling the flood of emotions. You're feeling, even if you're detached, like I said, I'm feeling really apathetic and indifferent. My counterpart's energy is always with me because he is my twin. I don't deny that. So he's always with me, and he always will be with me. But he's on the periphery. He's not at the center because I'm in this energy, right? I'm just focused on my path and my future and what I'm creating and what I'm doing in my everyday, and sharing love with family and friends, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm just open. So I'm in this energy, but you're still feeling the love. You're still feeling your counterpart's energy. You're still experiencing the love because there is love between you. There's always love between you. But I feel like you can sense something coming. So whether this is the masculine or the counterpart that has been going through this transformation process with you throughout your journey, or this is a new conscious masculine who's stepping forward to be that match, you can feel it coming in. You can feel it coming in. And you can feel that person balancing themselves out in order to take leadership, to take the reins, not only of their life, but of the connection. And when I say taking leadership of the connection, I mean where they are putting in the effort, where they are showing you through their actions and not just their words, where the words match the actions, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. That's this energy here. You're responding to the Divine Masculine saying, I feel you, I see you, I can sense this coming in. We've got to put down those burdens of the past. So if this is a new Sacred Masculine, somebody that perhaps you haven't met before, that you can feel energetically, then they're working on this as well, even though you haven't met, and you can feel it energetically. And it's somebody who's going to come in and you'll have that sacred union. If this is a counterpart that has previously been part of your journey, they're going through a transformation and you'll come together in that sacred union. No matter what, you're experiencing sacred union. That's part of your path. That's part of your path. Just allow yourself to open up to the potential of everything. And that's where you have trust and faith. And in that place between trust and faith, you have surrender. All right, this is going to be it for today. I know we didn't get a lot into cards, but we'll come back for a Sacred Union mini reading where we dive more into what is the Divine Masculine and Feminine actually experiencing, how are they seeing each other, how are they connecting with each other. We'll do that later this week, I think maybe Thursday or Friday. So do stay tuned to that. Also make sure that you're staying tuned to my TikTok because I'm now over there where I am sharing a little bit of everything. It's a hodgepodge of books, musings, writings, and tarot readings. I have some Love Connections readings going up there as well, and a couple of just collective readings that might resonate for you guys, so make sure you're checking that out. But we will be back, but this feels like a good stopping point. I am sending you all so much love and light, and we'll see you soon.